intel reports Covenant troops are massing beneath the carrier.
They're pulling back? Why?
Not gonna find out way up here.
Troopers! We are green and very, very mean! I take it back. Navy got its butt kicked.
Hey, Romeo. Remember when I told you to shut your mouth?
Yeah?
Consider that a standing order.
In our ongoing Halo recap so far, we've spoken about Halo Reach, Wars 1 and 2, which means we're a little less than halfway through the series, which in turn means that there's a lot left to talk about. In fact, given the fact we last left off with a recap of Halo 2, and given how the game ends, there's a truckload of important things to cover, even in the very immediate future. Halo 3, after all, is where Master Chief finishes the fight and defeats the Covenant for good. Or, well, for a while. Before we move on to that, however, we need to focus first on Halo 3 ODST. Halo 2's events, particularly some things that happen early on in the game, set in motion the story of Halo 3 ODST, and that side narrative is what we're going to be focusing on here. A quick refresher on the Halo 2 event that triggers the story of ODST, Covenant forces, led by Regret, one of their 3 hierarchs, attack Earth, with Regret's own dreadnought landing in the city of New Mombasa and Kenya and mounting a crippling and swift invasion with overwhelming forces. UNSC forces, including the Master Chief and Cortana, follow defending the city and giving chase to Regret, but as he sees the tide turning in the humans' favor, the Hierarch flees, launching his ship through a slipspace portal that the Master Chief carrying UNSC frigate and Amber-clad narrowly manages to follow them through. That slipspace is opened up too close to the city though, and that rash exit has disastrous consequences. The resulting shockwave spreads out and destroys huge chunks of the city, leaving it battered and half in ruins. And with large numbers of the Covenant forces still occupying New Mombasa, the problems of the people there and those responsible for defending it seem doubly impossible. Halo 3 ODST begins slightly before that event. Its story focused on New Mombasa away from the Master Chief and Cortana's excursions to Installation 5 and High Charity during the course of the rest of Halo 2. As such, players step into the shoes of an unnamed Orbital Deep Shock Trooper, or ODST, known only as the Rookie, who's part of the squad of fellow elite ODSTs who find themselves preparing for a drop down to the surface of Earth and defend New Mombasa shortly after Regret's dreadnought makes landfall. Besides the Rookie, the squad consists of Dutch, Romeo, Mickey, and their team leader Buck. In the early moments of the game, though, their squad gets a new member. Captain Veronica Dare is an ONI operative sent by command on a classified mission, for which they have tapped up Buck's squad to provide support for her, effectively making her the new boss. While Buck feels strongly that stopping and killing Regret should take priority, Dare reminds him that their orders have come from high up the chain and need to be followed. And so, the ODST squad gets into its individual drop pods, and this is where we finally take control of the protagonist, the Rookie. But the drop through the atmosphere and down into New Mombasa doesn't go as planned, because, at that moment, Regret's dreadnought and the UNSC frigate jump through the slipspace portal. The result shockwave sends the entire squad careening way off course, scattering them throughout New Mombasa. The Rookie and Mickey's pods collide and crash before landing, knocking the Rookie unconscious. He comes to 6 hours later with one very clear and obvious goal: find out what happened to the rest of the squad. Promptly, he enlists the aid of the Superintendent, which is the name given to the AI that runs and manages the civil operations of New Mombasa. This is where Halo 3 ODST structurally opens up in a way no other Halo game has. With the Superintendent's help, the Rookie is able to pinpoint where spots throughout the city where he might get leads on his squad mates, and players can head to these in whatever order they want. Once the Rookie gets there, the game flashes back and has you playing as that specific squad member. So let's talk about what happened to them, shall we? Let's start with Mickey and Dutch, 6 hours before the Rookie regains consciousness. Dutch lands in a nature reserve, while Mickey lands nearby as well. The two, with the help of Marines that they cross paths with, are reunited not long after they land. Together, they decide to rally at a nearby ONI site. hoping to mount a proper defense of the city from there. The following trek through the city is an eventful and grueling one for both of them, involving everything from blowing up a bridge in an attempt to slow down the Covenant's advance to having to flee from the ONI site and destroy it remotely as they fly away in a Pelican, so that the rampant Covenant cannot find and use the intel they have discovered in the facility. At this point, Dutch and Mickey manage to re-establish contact with Buck. So what happened with Buck? Well, he landed in a completely different part of the city and soon afterward was contacted by Dare. But when he got to her pod's crash site, he found it completely empty, with her nowhere to be seen. Soon he's reunited with Romeo, and after the two of them find Dare's helmet, Romeo guesses that she's probably dead. She isn't, of course, but we'll get to that in a bit. Soon, Dutch and Mickey arrive at the new Mombasa PD's headquarters to rendezvous with Buck and Romeo and pick them up, but upon their arrival, they're attacked by a formidable Covenant force. A long fight follows, which sees them suffer devastating blows. Their Pelican is shot down and rendered inoperable. Romeo is badly wounded, and they're forced to flee from the police station. Ultimately, they manage to hijack a Phantom and make their escape. But though their plan is to get far away from New Mombasa, they spot a massive Covenant force moving towards a specific point in the city, at which point Buck realizes that Dare isn't dead after all, and whatever her classified mission was, she's still at it, and has drawn the Covenant to herself. Under his orders, the squad turns around and rushes to get to her position. But here, we pause and shift focus back to the Rookie. After trekking through different parts of New Mombasa and fighting through Covenant forces as he discovers new intel about what happened to his squad mates, the Rookie chances upon a distress call. It's from Dare, and when he follows it to its source, he finds her in the data center of the AI Superintendent, which is a massive underground facility beneath New Mombasa. Here, she reveals what her true mission was: to fight through the Covenant forces flooding the many levels of the data center, get to the AI's core, and retrieve recently discovered sensitive information and prevent it from falling into the Covenant's hands. And what is that information? It's about something buried beneath the city, a Forerunner portal that leads directly to the Ark, an ancient Forerunner facility that can be used to remotely activate the entire Halo array, and in turn destroy all sentient life in the galaxy. The Covenant's faith, however, has blinded them to the true nature of the Halo rings, and they believe the activation of the array to be a cleansing of the galaxy, which of course means that they have to be stopped. With the Rookie's help, Dare manages to get to the Superintendent's core, and even though the damaged AI shuts down for good as they arrive, the two of them discover something interesting. Merged into the AI's core is a Huragok named Virgil. What's a Huragok, you ask? They're ancient biomechanical creatures that were created by the Forerunners. Also known as engineers, they've been enslaved by the Covenant for a long time, and as such, bear no love or loyalty for them. Conveniently enough, the one that the Rookie and Dare find themselves standing in front of doesn't either, and wishes to help humanity fight the Covenant. Dare, who realizes how valuable the engineer is, has assimilated the Superintendent AI's core and contains all of the information and knowledge within it, and of course, has also been privy to crucial information about the Covenant. Deciding that her mission has changed, she and the Rookie decide to escort the engineer safely out of the facility, out of the city, and into the hands of the UNSC. As they exit the facility, they finally converge with the rest of the squad. With the help of Buck, Mickey, Romeo, and Dutch, the entire squad narrowly escapes from New Mombasa with the engineer in tow. They watch on as an overwhelming Covenant floods the city and glasses it with devastating explosions, completely destroying it, which in turn leads to them finding and beginning the excavation of the Forerunner portal. Before it ends, Halo 3 ODST still has a couple of scenes to show and tie things off with. A month later, Sergeant Major Avery Johnson is interrogating the engineer and demands to know what the Covenant wants and how they can be stopped. The scene ends as the engineer agrees to help the human race. A final post-credits scene, which you only get if you finish the game on Legendary difficulty, shows Truth, who is the last remaining Covenant hierarch at this point, looking on as the excavation of the portal progresses. And that's it. The entire story of Halo 3 ODST. Now that that's wrapped up, it's time to move on to Halo 3 and finish the fight, before beginning another one with Halo 4. One thing at a time though. Stay tuned for our Halo 3 recap in the coming days. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Bolt.